everybody. Hope you guys are doing well on this beautiful Thursday day in the market. My name is Troy McNeil, and with me is Matt and Rusty. We are the co-founders of Option Omega, and for those of you who are joining us, welcome. Wanted to give a brief intro to Option Omega. Quick overview. We are all traders. We were all trying to figure out options trading as we went, and some of us have dev backgrounds, and we got into backtesting. We found strategies that we thought were going to be gazillionaires within weeks, and we started running those strategies, and we realized that the data that we saw in the backtest was not matching our real life performance. We realized then that most backtesters, options backtesters, use end of day data, and we set out to change that. And so Option Omega uses 1 minute data going back to 2013. For those of you who have never used a backtest, I'm going to share the screen real quick, and Rusty's just going to do a quick explanation of what a backtest is and how it can help you in trading before we jump into the big announcement.
So what we're looking at here is an example 0-day put credit spread where you're selling essentially only when the 5 EMA is greater than the 40-minute EMA. This is a minute EMA. And so if you're not familiar with that, that essentially is a bullish signal, right? It means that the very short-term trend is upward because these are minute EMAs. And so what you see here is a back test that's opening a lot. If you look at the top, there was this entry. There's a lot of entries, a lot of tranches, right? It's opening 9:30, 9:45. And then after that, every 15 minutes up till 2:30, it's opening a one lot of a 50 wide, 40 delta put credit spread. And it does pretty well, right? I mean, you look at this, it's got you about double your money in the last few months. It's got a stop loss at 75%, and we use intraminute data to determine that stop if you're not familiar with that. So not a bad strategy. I think all the cool kids these days talk about using EMAs in their 0-day trending credit selling. So I don't do this personally, but hey, looks like a good test. Looks like a solid test. However, right, this would be pretty difficult to trade without being plugged in all day and staring at a screen, because you have to be on the 15-minute marks, watching it every 15 minutes, looking at the EMAs, making sure you're bullish, and then enter. So in the past, this is what we give people, and then it'd be up to them to go figure out how to trade this.
Okay, so really what we're trying to do with backtesting is to literally do what it says. Look back in time and test a strategy. For years they've been like, let's try this condor. I have an idea about this way a condor would work or an EMA would work. Well, with Option Omega, what we allow you to do is to go back to 2013 and look at what expiry, if you're doing a 0-day or 1 day or 8-day. Now 0 days weren't in 2013, but to go back in time and say, well, if we put on that condor 2,000 times in the last 10 years, 11 years, what would we have done? What would it have looked like? And the benefit of it is you can make it as rigorous as you want to. You can add slippage. You can do all sorts of things. But a lot of people in our community have found it very helpful in building confidence in their trading. So much so that we have had multiple people throughout the years ask us, we want desperately a way to click a button and actually open these strategies without having to manually take the test, put it into our brokerage, and still trade. I want to remove the emotion from my trading in a way that Option Omega already does with backtesting. With that, we are very excited to announce something that we've been working on for over a year. And with that, I hand it back over to Rusty. Rusty, what's that big purple button we got over there?
So the big purple button is what we're launching. This is the automation platform, right? So now you can take this backtest and with one click, essentially open up this slider, and you'll notice everything is filled in for you. All the time tranches, the EMAs, like everything, the intraminute stop, everything that you'd expect has been entered in for you into this slider. And so what that means is there's no translation. You don't have to translate between Option Omega and another automation tool. You don't have to manually sit there and staring at the screen all day. Like the goal of this is to be able to say, I want to activate this trade. Let me choose my brokerage account. This little test environment, I only have the one Trader account. By the way, we support both Trader and Tasty. At launch, we're looking to add Schwab. Would love to add IB, but for now, we're launching with Trader and Tasty. You'll notice here it's got your legs, it's got the tranches. What you'll need to figure out is how much allocation we support, percentage-based, a fixed value, or a fixed quantity. So in this case, let's say we wanted to do a 3-lot of this trade. We would put this on, scroll down, and that's really all you need to do. That's the minimum. You save this thing, and now you have, as you see here, this little Shazam symbol. You got an active strategy going, right? And now you can watch it roll in as, we get close to, what's the next tranche would be at 115, as long as the EMA is upwards, which on a day like today, who the heck knows? I'm not looking at candles right now, but you would start to see the trades roll in. So that's the basics of it. That's how easy it is to take the back test and to translate that into, and to create an automated trading strategy from that. And so some of the other things that you can do here that you'll notice that are different than a back test, obviously, is that you have to configure what, like I said earlier, what account it goes to, specifically one type of way to allocate the funds to it, like how many tranches do you end up wanting to do with this? And then you'll notice an entry and an exit execution criteria here. So these are basically, right, whenever we enter or exit, it's going to try to enter at the mid, MBBO mid. This is a spread. It's got a mid range. Essentially, it's going to try to pick that mid, and then it's going to bump it up 5 cents every 5 seconds. It'll try 10 times, and if it fails, right, it'll try again late whenever the next entry is. It'll keep trying. Same thing on an exit, right? And with the option here to switch to a market order after X number of attempts. So all of that is built into the tool from day one. Okay, what else do you see here? There's an activity log, which will show you not only when it entered and every time it tried to increment the price to enter or exit, that kind of things. It'll show you why a trade didn't enter, right? So if it gets to 115 and this wasn't satisfied, it'll say did not enter. The 5-minute EMA was below the 40-minute EMA, and it'll give you the values for each, so you can check in your charting tool. I use TradingView, for example. Also over here, if there's an error for some reason, let's say your brokerage said you didn't have the amount of margin required, it'll tell you that. All that kind of stuff will be recorded. You can duplicate a trade, you can delete the trade, and go back and edit the strategy. You can toggle it off if you want, all those kinds of things. So that's how you create a strategy from a backtest. It's just that easy, right? And once you create it, if you want to go back and see the strategy was linked to, you click the little light bulb button. That's it. So that's the basics of creating a new strategy. Now, the next phase would be like, well, what are my strategies that are active? So we go to this one, or I just created a duplicate, so I'll probably go and delete the one I just created because I'd already done that before. So you can see here, these would be all your strategies that are active or inactive that you have going on. By default, it only shows the active ones. If you click here, you'll see your strategy. You'll see all the open trades for that strategy. You'll see the history of it, of all the trades that have been closed throughout time. And the activity log, again, the same thing would be multi-day on this one. So you can see today, I had this on in the morning. It entered 4 tranches so far, right? 4 different ones at a 3-lot. It shows you how much you're up. It shows you what percentage that trade is. So, you'll see here, this is a put debit spread. Oops, should have been minus 50. See, that's what happens when you set up demos. Turns out that buying put debit spreads today was a good idea. That's hilarious. This is an inverted strategy that worked today.
Rusty, while you're on that screen, why don't you go back to that screen? You can talk real quick about how quick it updates and just a time frame so people can look at their live strategies.
Yeah. So the resolution on all this is that everything's updating on a 1-minute basis. So every 1 minute, so you saw the premium just tick over. On a 1-minute basis, it checks all the entries and exit conditions for all your strategies. All trades that are on, checked every minute to say, let's look through all the different closing conditions. Are any of them satisfied? Get out. So it matches the back test because the back test has 1-minute resolution. However, you'll notice this is an intra-minute stop loss. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, for 0 day, you'll see this here. I'll go down to the stop. For 0 day intermittent stops for SPX and SPY, just like the backtester, we support a 1 second interval where every 1 second we check and we say, does this hit the stop? Try to get out, try to get out, try every 1 second with the optional consecutive hits parameter. What that would mean is let's check every second. And if there are 4 consecutive seconds where this stop is hit, exit the trade. Okay, so basically what you're trying to say is, let's just make sure it's not an erroneous price, right? Temporarily, right? Like someone just pulled a bid or something. I don't know. Whatever would cause that, or a weird price spike, right? Like right during the FOMC press release or something like that. So that's what the stop does. Otherwise, we do support resting stops for single-legged trades because that's a brokerage requirement for both Trader and Tasty, single-legged only. You can do a resting stop, okay? Notice what's supported. So the backtester has a lot going on, and it's all here, okay? You got leg groups, right? So I could put these into 2 separate, I could manage the put and the call separately, okay? Then it would allow me to use a resting order on just the short put and leave the long put, right? Imagine this was actually, right, this is an actual put debit spread. It would have to be minus 50 points down. That's on me. I mean, other things are on here. All of your exit conditions that you expect, the early exits, the different timed exits, the profit actions are on here, right? So you can say things like at 50% profit, remove half the trade. That's supported, or adjust the stop, right? Maybe you want to manually adjust it up, or you want to trail it. All these things are supported. All the time actions are supported. All these different VIX conditions. So if you have a vol crush on a double calendar and get out, you can do that. If you want to get out on a certain, TA, or if the underlying price moves 0.5% down, or if the put goes in the money, you can do deltas. I mean, all that stuff is there. All the tranches, re-entering is covered. Blackout days is supported. So if I go back to this test here, this is a 4-7 double calendar. Okay, look how many different things it has going on. You go here, it pre-fills everything for you. It pre-fills your blackout dates for you. These are short weeks, right? I don't generally trade DCs on holiday weeks because volatility tends to get crushed in the short term. At least these short-term DCs, I should say, like this 4-7. Notice there's a 45% profit target, but at 15 and 30%, it removes a third of the trade. So you're taking off the trade in tranches as it gets profitable. We have delta exits, both net delta for the entire position and then per leg deltas. There's a short long condition. Again, everything, if you can test it in Option Omega, you can automate it. One thing that's kind of nice is you got these overrides here as well. So you can go here and you can say, hey, normally I'm going to exit in a pretty calm fashion. Every 5 seconds, just keep bumping the price 5 cents to try to get out. Let's say you have this short long, actually this delta one's a good one, right? So if you're really long delta, which means you've gone way past the put, okay? You're super long delta. So if you get above that 70 delta on the put, maybe you want to get out more rapidly. Maybe you want to get out 10 cents every 3 seconds and do 15 attempts. So this is all supported in the app. Ratios, ORB is built in, right? Opening range breakout, like all that stuff, gaps, overnight gaps. And again, everything matches. We intentionally picked a data provider that matched the backtest. So the deltas will match. The gaps overnight will match. You don't have to translate that to another tool. All that stuff matches. It's all just like the backtest. So that's sort of the basics of your strategies and that. So there's a live tab here, shows all your live trades, everything you got on. So it's just a demo account, right? I wish this were my life account. I wish I had done nothing but bought, apparently put credit spreads all day.
Put debit spreads.
Yeah, that's why I said put debit spreads all day. I would be up a lot. So anyway, we'll ignore that. We'll ignore the sandbox. It makes me sad that it's not real. So you'll notice you had all your trades. It tells you what the current premium versus your initial premium was, when you entered it, And this will, again, this updates on a 1 minute basis. It's got a privacy mode here. However, people like to take screenshots. So notice any absolute values go away. It goes to percentages. The dollar signs go away and everything turns into a one lot. So this were a butterfly, it'd be like 121, for example, but like everything goes to a one lot. That way, if you want to share a screenshot to your community, to friends or whatever, and you want to say, hey, look, this is how my stuff's doing today, you could do that.
Yep. I'm going to answer a couple quick questions. And while I'm doing that, Rusty, have you showed the activity log? Can you get that queued up and I'll answer a couple quick questions while you're doing that? Okay. So first of all, brokers, a couple of people have asked about brokers. Again, we're launching with Trader and TastyTrade, and we actually have some others that we're talking with. We know 2 others that have been mentioned. There's demand for Toss, Schwab, and also IBKR. We don't have a timeline for either of them. So right now we're launching with Tasty and Trader. If you're new to Tasty, if you're going to sign up, we actually have an affiliate link we'll put in there that would help us. The affiliate link that we're going to share is actually it has a kicker from Tasty if you open an account. So it helps us, but it helps you as well. I'll put that in the comment box. Timeline for the beta. We're going to be onboarding people shortly after the holidays. I have a link for the sign up. We do not know how long the beta will take. It's a beta. It takes as long as it takes. Sorry to be not more specific, but that is the reality of it. The one other question I wanted to answer real quick, Ryan asked a great question. How would I know if the bot loses connection to my broker? We have health monitoring built into the app. Actually, we can't show it right now because it's not having an issue. There is health monitoring built into the app, and it has a little warning sign that flashes on the site. But that's a great transition to this question, because this is another way to get more detail about what's going on. If there would be an issue, I think I'm correct in saying, Rusty, if there would be an issue, it would show up in this activity log. But this activity log is going to be your source of quick knowledge about what is going on and what happened with the strategies that you entered, put on, and perhaps exited. So Rusty's going to cover the activity log real quick.
Yeah, so this is the activity log for all of the trades that happened today, right? This is your live dashboard. So anything that opened or closed today, it's going to show you this. There's a debug option here. We'll show you a lot more. This is the high level, right? It's going to say it's opening a trade. Tried it, 10 attempts, it canceled. It's trying again. Oh, it finally got filled after 1 attempt. So you'll see this is kind of interspersed. You got different trades, you got your timestamp and what's happening. If there's an error in here, it would show, right? If there's like couldn't connect to brokerage or some kind of random trade or timeout, or TastyTrade API issue will show here. All this stuff's here. Okay. This is also, if you go to an individual strategy and you click the log, you'll get the same thing. And these are there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of logs. And so this might take a second because the log is we log everything. And so what you're seeing, I'm not going to wait for that, but what you'd see there is just everything that's gone for the strategy in the last 2 weeks, I believe is what I have it on. What Matt was saying is that if you have an error or warning in your app, if there's anything going on with your account with Option Omega, you'll see a little triangle up here. It'll flash. It'll be very obvious that there's something going on. Eventually, that's currently what we have. We're going to work on like SMS and or email alerting, and other people talked about Discord alerting. There are a million different ways to alert people that something's going wrong. We want to be both reactive and proactive with the alerting. So those are the goals with that.
Somebody asked, I'm trying to get all the questions. I think, TradeStation, we're open to TradeStation. We don't know how much demand there is. If you are a TradeStation user, you can reach out to us and make your voice heard. We have not really interacted with them much. I think I covered pretty much most of the rest of the questions
for now.
We will cover pricing and launch and kind of how it works. This is a separate, you guys want to do that right now? We can do that right now.
Well, let me go through a few other things.
Sure.
Right. Let me go through a few more features. So one, you can pause all trading. What this is like, let's say yesterday when the market tanked a bazillion points, okay? Obviously this would do well because these are inadvertently put debit spreads, but let's say they were put credit spreads. Let's say you wanted to get out in the brokerage. You didn't want Option Omega to do anything, Or let's say you're going on vacation, right? It's Friday afternoon, your book's clear, pause all trading, go on vacation. That's what that does. That's the goal of that. The platform it won't touch anything. That's one way to intervene. Another way to intervene is you have two other options per trade. I could try to close this now. So you just want to get out. Let's say, right, we're up 60% on this. Maybe we just want to close it. You'd click that. You have options here. Do I want to close the whole thing? So this is if I turn that off, it's a 3 lot. So I could say, let's close 2 of these. Or I could say, leave this blank, close it all. Or I can say, if you're panicking, you could use a market order and get out right away. Otherwise, it'll try to limit out, right, with incrementing the mid price. So those are the ways we intervene. Other things we're talking about that are on the roadmap are the ability to manually enter a trade. So let's say you have a strategy that's just sort of inactive. You're just using it as a template. You want to click a button, right? You're watching the market. You're intervening. You're basically getting in the trade on some signal that's not in our app. You could do it that way. Another thing we talked about is a way to pause new trades. Let's say, like, these are tranche trades. Both of these, obviously, you see them going on a bunch. Well, there'd be a way to click one of these and pause this thing and say, okay, continue to manage what's going on here, but just don't put any more trades on. Another option is if you deactivate this, it'll actually warn you right here that it will mark all the trades as not monitored anymore. It'll basically close them all in the platform, but in your brokerage, it'll sit there so that you can go into the brokerage and manually manage them. That's what halt management does. It simply says, I'll just do that on one of these, right? So if I go here and I say halt management, what it'll do is it'll go to see, look at this. We're not managing anymore. You said hands off. I'm going to go in. I'm going to roll it maybe. Maybe you're going to roll it. Maybe you'll turn it into a butterfly. Maybe you're going to roll it out in time, right? Who knows? Maybe you'll exit one leg. I don't know what you're doing with it. The point is, it's now yours. You're going to go mess with it yourself. Those are all the options we have baked into the live platform. The other thing we have is a reporting tab. Quickly on this, what you see is you see your metrics. You can see over the last 7 days, right, what your capture rate on your premium sold was, winners versus losers, all the stuff that looks very familiar. It's the same stuff we got in the back tester. Here's all your trades over the last 7 days. You can do these things. You can filter by tag. If I had tags here, which I don't, I think I actually have them in this system though. So in this one, yeah, here we go. You could say, well, let me see how my premium selling has done all time, right? 50K. There it is. 775 trades on this sandbox account. So that's the reporting aspect of it. That's basically what we have at launch. We've also added one last thing. We've added 2-factor authentication to the app because this is now touching your brokerage accounts, and we wanted to make it more secure. All right, that's basically that portion of it.
Thanks, Rusty, so much. So for those who were wondering about price, right now we have one tier, which is backtesting. This will be another tier. And with this tier, you'll get backtesting features, obviously, and the trading. That tier will be $300 a month or $3,000 a year. If there are coupons, Black Friday sales, things like that, you can apply those as well. So there'll be the 2 tiers. There'll be backtesting, and then there'll be backtesting plus trading. As far as the beta process, for anybody who's a dev, shout out devs, how this works is we have been in alpha for months now, and we have had real people trading real money. And we have taken our sweet time with this. Obviously, with a system like this, you want it to be stable. That's what we have worked really hard for. And we now believe we're at a place where we can launch the beta. So saying that to say, when will beta end? We don't know. That's the whole point of beta. But we can say that beta will be launching here very shortly. We feel very confident in our abilities to launch beta really soon. So obviously this is 6 days before Christmas. We all have families and we're all real people. So we won't be launching a beta during Christmas week and things like that. Beta will be launching shortly in 2025. So I think Matt pinned it, but for those of you who are just jumping on, you can go to optionomega.com/trading-sign-up.
One last thing about beta I would like to mention. Beta doesn't mean flaky. The reason we're doing beta is just to make sure everything continues to scale. This is all on fault-tolerant, distributed cloud computing environment, right? It's very robust. We just want to make sure it scales which is why we're doing a beta. We're going to keep adding people aggressively to the beta. But the other thing is, we've been trading on this platform at full, like with my own, I've been doing with my own money. So is, the other guys at full scale for months, like truly. I'm not going to show you my personal account, but suffice to say that it works exceedingly well. We'll continue to add features. We'll continue to add alerting and monitoring and things like that so that everyone feels really good about it. And we'll continue to look at the other brokerages, but it's feature complete in the sense of like all the stuff in the backtest is there. And the service works solid. I mean, it's incredibly solid.
Yeah, the only thing that's that's not in the strategies is squeeze metrics, because we do not have a live squeeze metrics. So a couple other questions. Jeff asked if there's a way to compare the backtest to actual trades. There sure is. The strategies are linked to a backtest, so you just have to, you can click the link to the backtest, run it, and compare them, and adjust your slippage or whatever. Ryan asked about the type of orders. We do have resting profit target orders at the broker. I have one on right now. So if we dump about 15 points, hopefully I will hear a bring in my ears. But yes, we do have those. And this tool right now is functioning like the back tester in terms of regular trading hours versus extended trading hours. Right now, we do not have anything outside of regular trading hours.
So saying that to say, we are very, very excited. We've been working really, really hard on this. Again, this has been the #1 feature request for a long time now. And a tool like this demands excellence and requires a lot of time. And that's what we've been working on. Anyway, we'll go from there. There'll be a lot more information coming out in the coming weeks. So if you didn't miss anything, this will be recorded. You can watch it again, and we'll be putting stuff out as you go. So again, if you want to get on the beta waitlist and you want to get first dibs for this, go there and sign up, and we will go from there. Go ahead, Matt. With that,
I was just going to say, if you're not on our Discord, there's been a ton of conversation about our Discord in both the subscriber verified channels, but also we have a channel called Cigar Lounge Discussion. If you have additional questions, feel free to jump on there, ask us questions, and we will chop it up with you and make sure your questions get answered.
With that being said, we're going to sign off. Everybody, appreciate you. Looking forward to trading together in the new year and using this tool together in the new year. So that being said, Merry Christmas to you guys.